Hi guys, this is Breaker, and wow, I actually didn't mean for this spam to show up. Oh well, it looks like my XSplit didn't capture it, so yeah. Without further ado, I found a bunch of his replays on Cast It, the subforum to Reddit for StarCraft 2. His name is forsakeNXE. Yes. And in the lower left-hand corner, spawning as our Zerg in the blue trunks, I give you all Horazon. His Zerg opponent, yes. And the map we are on right now is Neoplanet S, one of the smaller maps. So I don't know. I'm a bit curious. Is this going to be? This kind of reminds me just a teeny bit of Xel'Naga Caverns, of course, with the gold expos being kind of towards the center here, but of course the layout being almost completely different. Of course, the natural here, it's not too difficult to make a SimCity with that, or even a full wall off, really. SimCity wouldn't be too terribly necessary in a TVZ matchup, considering not wall offs. Supply depots can lift and burrow freely. This is actually something that I see regularly from forsakeNXE. Past two replays I casted of him, he did this as well. He just put barracks basically at this position. Kind of, you know what, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think a Zerg drone that goes up that ramp will be able to see it. At any rate, we actually have no drone on the way to actually scout that, but we do have Horazon going, looks like for a direct 15 pool. Nothing wrong with that. And for those of you interested in what I do with casting, since I got a lot of time to fill in here, this does seem to be the new standard play. That is Reaper openings, and if you know your opponent is going to go with a gas opener, you take your gas opener as a Zerg, and you basically throw in a bunch of lings to the composition, and either A, prevent that Reaper from killing drones, or B, use those lings that you created to do some harass at your opponent's natural. Anyway, since we got a bit of time to fill in and we all know what's coming, let's see, if you guys are interested in knowing what I do, basically I cast for the Chinese scene in StarCraft 2, as well as the Taiwanese scene, the most underrepresented parts of it, I feel, simply due to the fact that, Australia, I'm not bashing Australia when I say this, but of course you guys speak English as a first language, typically. Most of your players do, I imagine. And, as such, I think, you guys have a lot of great players, and they can communicate effectively with everyone in the Western world. Of course, I'm talking about Moonglade, PIG, Targa was in Australia like 8 months ago to not directly to compete for the ASL, but of course he was in it because he was in Australia. Just not sure what clan he represented, if he represented one at all. And just honestly, I think I think the Taiwanese and the Chinese players actually need a voice to represent them, kind of. From the Western world, and I do want to highlight that was actually a first. I was not expecting forsakeNXE to actually lose that Reaper. Masters level Terran play. Of course, he does have a double command center follow-up, so he's got a plan with this. He's going to try and take this into macro. On this map, it can actually be a little more dangerous, simply due to the fact that it's so much smaller. And the third is actually quite wide open. And this third, I want to say, for Terran, it can be relatively easy to hold because of, just throwing a couple of barracks down here would actually help with the situation. Maybe throw a bunker down behind it, maybe, but not more than that. I wouldn't overcommit too much to defense of that area. But, yeah, China, they got a lot of great players. At any given time, the Chinese players can be... there can be anywhere from 7 to 10 GM ranked players on the Korean server that are playing from China. They don't really play on the Chinese server for basically, I want to highlight two good reasons. Basically, the first one being The first one being that StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm has not yet been published in China. It hasn't been approved yet by I forget. I think it's NetEase. I don't think it's met the NetEase domestic security requirements in China. I'm not entirely sure what that would lead up to, but I can tell you that NetEase is basically the company that was in charge of internet security for StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty in China. Hellions coming down here, checking for the third. See that it's not there, and it looks like we're probably going to have a bio follow-up coming from Horazon. Excuse me, not Horazon, but Forsaken. Seems to be the most optimal choice on this map, given the size and given the mobility of a Bioforce. Now, we do have a few links, just a few. It's not going to quite be enough to actually deal with this optimally. There's no Spine Crawler here yet for Horazon, and his third is actually extremely delayed. I'm a little curious to see just what he's got going into all of this. Is this a 2-base all-in? I mean, he is upgrading his missile attacks as well as his Carapace. Carapace will help the Lings, but of course missile attacks will not. Of course, we also have glial reconstitution being researched right now. And that Reaper coming back and being annoying. He's actually gotten 3 kills over the course of this game with that Reaper. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Was that the one that was with the Hellions? It was the one that was with the Hellions. Alright, so it looks like this Queen's going to come back over here and do some damage. Now, there was a scan that just went down. It went down at the natural. I'm a little curious, did Forsaken actually catch the tail end of these roaches moving out? Their current aim is actually... This is basically for Terran right now. This is the harassment stage of the game. And he knows that there's an attack coming his way. He sent the Reaper into the main. He saw that there's a Roach Warren. He saw that his opponent is only on 2 base, not 3. So he knows that his opponent is actually gearing up to kill him right here, right now. Now, we don't have any Marauders that are oh wait, we just have one Marauder that's actually ready to go right here. But we'll have another one that'll be ready to go in a second. Of course, the Widow Mines are also going to be able to tack on some splash damage. We might see 1 or 2 volleys successfully go off. And I think, you know, Horazon, I think he's maybe taking the safe-ish approach to doing that. He's actually attacking at the same time as taking his third. He's not necessarily moving in to kill his opponent. What I think he could be doing with this is, and I like this move, he's basically pressuring his opponent into... Excuse me. He's basically pressuring his opponent into staying at home and not being able to move out and take a third whenever he wants to. See, there it is. You know, he knows how many Marauders there are here, and if he just tries and A moves into this, it's gonna mean death for him. And he already has that vibe, so he's not gonna try that again. He did manage to temporarily supply block his opponent, but I think to counteract this, we saw forsakeNXE just basically throw down a couple of supply drops. I think I heard them. I swear I heard them. But there are supply depots going down here. Actually, you know, this might have been just absolutely excellent accounting skills by forsakeNXE. He had some supply depots building in the main. Looks like, yeah, we're going to see Horazon basically, I think he's moving to... I don't know, he's moving to make some damage happen, but that's just not going to work out with, you know, I think the Overseer basically granted so much vision of Widow Mines here. He's not going to want to move into that, but he did manage to kill the supply depot wall off. I don't think he's going to try and move past that. His main goal was basically to supply block forsakeNXE, and with that he had succeeded, but at the cost of how many units? Let's see. You know, his losses just slightly are scaling a little bit worse than that of forsakeNXE's, and this is basically a contain. That's all it is. So we gotta give it up for forsakeNXE for actually throwing down a scan. Behind this, we actually have Horazon playing the greedy game. He took a 4th as well, just as his 3rd had finished up. Nothing wrong with that. But now we need to see him gear up and go into defensive mode, because right now he is on extremely borrowed time. That's a lot of Marines. Excuse me, that's a lot of Marines, that's a lot of Marauders especially. And, hold up, how many is that? Wow, that is 7 Marauders, a few Hellions as well. So we're going to see, this is basically the ideal composition that you would do an all-in with on 2 bases. This could be game-ending damage that we see Horazon taking, and it looks like, oh no, this is actually exactly what he did not want to run into, and it looks like Horazon is actually opting to do a base trade right now. Not a safe mood, or not a safe move by any means. But, oh, these drones are getting pulled off the line. Where are they going to go? Meanwhile, we got the roaches trying to move into the natural mineral line. All the SCVs got pulled off and put onto the bunker. But it's alright. I mean, the drones are the most important thing. I think Horazon was accounting for losing that third. He knew that once his opponent had gotten enough Marauders, he would push out. He's not an idiot. He knew that his opponent would do this. And right now we have 32 Lings in production. And I think we could actually see Horazon break out here. Oh my god, but the Banelings just made absolutely sour connections. They did not, you know, they didn't get any of the Marines. They maybe just got one or two. And they all connected with the Marauders, which was absolutely the worst exchange that any Baneling could make, aside from maybe tanks or maybe just a single Thor as opposed to a group of Thors. With that, we actually see Forsaken in an excellent position right now. You know, if we check the worker count and compare it to the army count right now, then we just see, you know, Horazon is just getting in an increasingly worse position. There it is, the GG from Horazon. He absolutely 100% forgot about this base right here. You know, it could have helped his income in the end, but instead he opted to rebuild this base, and he knew he was going to get a lot of he was going to lose a lot of drones. He just didn't react appropriately. Well, if you guys liked what you saw here, go ahead and click on the follow button. This has been the subscribe button. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time.